Whenever I think about the many mysteries in One Piece or the plethora of secrets yet to be told, there are a few men who come to mind, but most of all, red-haired Shanks and Marshall D. Teach. In a world full of answers untold, Oda has implemented into these two men a shrouded history, unclear motives, and unknown power that has led us to question everything involving them. I for one think these two characters are fated to cross. However, the importance of Shanks is one that I believe to correlate directly to the new generation. These are my thoughts on Shanks and how tragedy can create true balance. If you made it this far to the video, I just want to say thank you so much. And also to make sure you check out the pinned comments and the description for my Twitch link. Make sure you click that and follow me on Twitch so you can make sure that you don't miss any of the awesome streams I do daily. Also, make sure to hit the Discord link that's in the pinned comment as well so you can be a part of any fan videos in the future. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like. And if you want more One Piece content like this, make sure you subscribe and turn on those post notifications. Let's get into the video. One Piece Chapter 1 is actually a very good introduction to a series, and the blueprint set up for the protagonist Luffy is one that not only falls in line with my theory, but creates the mold of who Luffy would become. Luffy is a child interested in freedom on the open seas and becoming a pirate. This feeling is exemplified by the man he looks up to the most in that regard, red-haired Shanks. Very early on in the story, we see the importance of Shanks and how much he influences Luffy. On page 16 of chapter 1, there's a bandit who enters the bar Shanks and his crew are in, and he demands liquor for him and his men. Unfortunately, Shanks and the others had already drank all the liquor, but because he feels guilty, he offers the bandit an unopened bottle of grog. The bandit rudely rejects this bottle and pours it all on top of Shanks. This moment is incredibly important for a later moment in the story during Jaya. I'll get to that later. The bandit continues to hit and taunt Shanks, talking about his bounty and the amount of people he's killed. After some while of Shanks not reacting, the bandits leave the bar. This moment, although laughed at by the red-haired pirates, is not taken so lightly by Luffy. Luffy yells at Shanks in a very iconic statement, saying, "He made you look like a weakling. Why didn't you fight him? Sure, they outnumbered you and maybe they look pretty tough, but what kind of man lets himself be treated like that and then laughs about it? You're a disgrace to all pirates." And Shanks responds, "When you grow up, maybe you'll understand, kid. He just got some grog on me, that's all. Needless killing doesn't make you a man." This moment was so important not only for establishing the way Luffy doesn't kill, but also for setting up the relevance that Shanks has in the story. A man of true balance and inspiration, Shanks has always been a character in One Piece that I feel not only will indirectly oppose Blackbeard and push forward Luffy's generation, but will also lean into the greater good no matter what. He shows Luffy a lot in this chapter. He teaches him about needless killing, but after Luffy goes to confront the bandit for Shanks, he also teaches him how serious killing someone is, and how someone's life is not something to be toyed with. He protects Luffy as Lucky Root takes him out in an instant. His protection of Luffy has always caught my eye because it makes me wonder, well, why? Why someone this powerful as a pirate is so worried about a child like Luffy? Well, I believe Shanks understood that Luffy is special, that he is a person who can surpass him and accomplish everything Shanks might have not been able to do. Protect the future because Luffy will be someone who can facilitate balance in the world someday. Shanks shows how dedicated he is by interfering with the Lord of the Coast and saving Luffy. Shanks sacrifices his own arm without even hesitating to make sure Luffy survives, and his effort is something I never forgot. I've explained my thoughts on Shanks and how instrumental he was in the beginning of the story, but let's relate his actions to the story and his dynamic with the man I mentioned alongside him earlier, Blackbeard. Chapter 434. If anyone isn't familiar with this chapter, it is in fact the moment Shanks boards Whitebeard's ship in hopes of having a conversation. Whitebeard obliges and the two shoot the ship with each other for a while until Shanks gets to the point of his visit. He mentions the countless battles he had and all the scars he's received, but the one that stung the most wasn't given by Draco Mihawk. Oh no, it was given by none other than Marshall D. Teach. He explains about how Teach had been laying low, biding his time behind the shadow of Whitebeard, that once he gains enough power, he'll make his move and even come for Whitebeard's seat. Pops doesn't seem amused by this and asks Shanks directly, "What do you want from me?" And Shanks responded, "I want you to stop Ace. And I don't want you to go to Blackbeard." This led into the infamous clash between the two where they split the heavens. Even back then, Shanks knew how dangerous Teach was, and honestly throughout the story, Shanks has been the main advocate for the potential threat that Teach is. As much as I feel the scar that Blackbeard left on Shanks looked like it could have stung, we are talking about Shanks here, the man that had his arm chewed off and he was seen smiling afterwards. I feel the stinging could also been symbolic to how much this looming threat was bothering his mental. He seemed so adamant on his words as if he had information that other pirates wouldn't. He specifically told Whitebeard not to go after Blackbeard. It makes me wonder if Shanks knew what abilities Teach had before anyone else witnessed them during Marineford. Looking at this moment in hindsight, my mind spewing so many different directions. Did Shanks tell Whitebeard not to engage Blackbeard because he may have knew his devil fruit would be stolen? Throughout the entirety of the story, Shanks has been trying to warn others about the incoming threat that Teach would become. This all culminated at Marineford with the death of Whitebeard and Ace. Although Akainu was the one who took Ace's life, Blackbeard is the cause for all of this, and that's something Luffy will never forget. That's important to my theory later on as well, so keep this in mind also. Even further on in the story, during the reverie, Shanks yet again would further his pursuit onto what I think his main objective is, spreading the word and possibly receiving help for the threat Blackbeard is to become. Seeing Shanks go talk to the Gorosei during the reverie creates a feeling of unease. A pirate going to speak with them is scary enough, but a Yonko? He must be desperate if he's willing to go to these lengths. At first I didn't think much of these things, and although they seemed odd, I let it leave my mind because there wasn't much more motive for me to look for evidence, until in Jump Festa Oda made a statement that the red-haired pirate would be on the move again. Now some people seem to think that this could also be Kid, but I'm in the mindset that it's Shanks. My mind started to instantly think about a clash with Blackbeard because we know that he is on the move as well. The fated clash of these two Yonko have been foreshadowed for such a long time. Ever since we saw Shanks point at the scar on his face, a lot of the community look at Shanks as this balance in the wide world, which is One Piece, and to me, he is the yin if Blackbeard is the yang. Shanks is balance while Blackbeard is chaos, and although a lot of the fandom will be upset, I do believe that Shanks is on a path to be defeated, and there will be tragedy once his death is secured. His death will be one that would not only shake the entirety of the world, but also indirectly push forward those who came after him. Shanks will be the torch that ignites the new generation to finally put Blackbeard to rest, with the pioneer being the same person he gave the straw hat to, Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy grows in adversity. This is something that has happened many times throughout the story. Anytime he feels lost or feels that he can't protect his crew, he grows. We've seen this in Enies Lobby with Gear 2. He felt like he had to bridge the gap between him and Bluno and Lucci, so he came up with a way that would be a detriment to his body, but it didn't matter to him as long as he could be strong enough to defeat them and protect his crew. We've seen this after Sabaody, after the Straw Hats have taken their toughest defeat. Again, Luffy was very hard on himself and knew that he needed to grow. This culminated in Marineford when he lost his brother Ace, and he had that infamous moment with Jinbei where he has the conversation about how he can't protect anyone, and then he comes to that realization that no matter what, no matter who he's lost, he still has his crew. This led to him training in the 3D2Y moment and him growing over the 2-year time skip. And now even in Wano Kuri, after we see him get defeated by Kaido, because once again he thinks his crew is in danger. He thought that his crew had died, so he fought, and when he finds out his crew isn't dead, instead of beating himself up completely, he trains in Udon prison to get strong enough to protect his crew. As you can see, Luffy grows in the face of these losses. Anytime he believes his crew is in danger or he loses someone important due to a lack of strength, he makes sure to bridge that gap by training or creating a way to become stronger. In a way, Shanks losing his life will be that torch that keeps Luffy going. It's a reoccurring theme in One Piece that the will of others pass on and continue to facilitate growth in others. Whitebeard spoke of this during Marineford, and when he gave his speech, as he was talking about there being someone that Ace would live through, we see Luffy directly in the middle of those words. Luffy is the key, the man who will live on, and I believe the biggest indicator and evidence of this is the Straw Hat. I want to talk about a moment in chapter 968. We see a moment where Shanks is crying holding on to Roger. It says, when Roger returned from Laugh Tale, Red Taro came to him and asked him something, only to shed tears afterwards. The birth of the King of the Pirates caused a stir around the world, prompting the Navy to lead into drastic action. I believe the thing Shanks may have asked him is a question about his travels, and I believe this is where Roger explained his illness and his inevitable death, but also information about the Straw Hat, that one day he would meet a boy just like himself, someone that he would believe in just like he believed in Shanks, and when he meets him, he'd pass the Straw Hat once again. A way of challenging this boy to grow and return the Straw Hat to Shanks one day. The Straw Hat is an item that is given to someone of the next generation with big goals and someone who has potential to be great. Shanks knew Luffy was special, just as Roger knew Shanks was special. And even though I believe the D-Clan members are notorious for the overwhelming will being passed on, I do believe the Straw Hat passing is just as important to the story. My thoughts are that Shanks will at some point have to go and confront Blackbeard due to the fact that he knows no one else will help him. He will feel that he is responsible for protecting the new generation, that he'll need to get rid of the darkness on his own. I believe Oda may go with this choice because it would be especially poetic for Shanks to have went to multiple people for help with Blackbeard, not to be listened to, go to handle it himself, and then the exact threat he was describing actually kills him. This threat that no one would believe Shanks about is the same exact threat that would take his life. This is how I feel everyone will listen. This moment may be the exact thing that needs to happen in order to make the world see the true threat that Blackbeard is. Shanks may sacrifice himself to create balance in the world. He may know that from his death, not only will the world be on notice about just how dangerous Blackbeard is, but also Luffy will take action because of how precious Shanks is to him and how much he already hates Blackbeard. Imagine if the person responsible for everything at Marineford happening, which causes Ace's death, also killed the very person who inspired you to become a pirate and live your dreams. This could create such a pain and anger in Luffy that he would focus all of it into growing and getting revenge for his fallen friend. But remember, Luffy does things he wants to do. He doesn't do things to save the day or get recognition. However, Luffy will always save his friends or do things for those he cares for. Him caring for Shanks will be the exact fuel needed for Luffy to defeat Blackbeard and create the balance that Shanks ultimately longed for. I believe the way Shanks chooses to live his life is one of sacrifice. No matter how he has to, creating and maintaining that balance of the world is of utmost importance to him. I love to relate things in One Piece to those of real life. I for one see Shanks and how he is acting as one of a double agent, or in my life, someone who would play both sides of the coin. We see him being at the top of the pirate world, but we also see him being someone respected even by the Gorosei. In chapter 907, Shanks shows up, and the Gorosei respect him and say that you showed up during the reverie, but for you, we will basically give you our time. And he explains to them that there is someone that they need to be on the lookout for, someone dangerous, most likely. And I believe that's Blackbeard. Shanks is someone who doesn't care about politics. Why is that? Because he is involved heavily on both sides. Why would he need to worry about politics at the reverie when he is in fact safe from these changes? They respect Shanks though, and this could be for many different reasons. Perhaps it's because he is the son of Zebek, as others have said, or maybe he is a celestial dragon. But I have another reason. I believe it's purely respect for what Shanks is doing, putting his life and name on the line by working on both sides to keep the peace. You may say that Shanks is wrong for using people and playing others, but there are no rules in the pirate world. Anything is fair. Shanks is doing exactly what he needs to do in order to create equilibrium amongst his people and the government. A really cool quote that I found by Peter Latham says, "Fortunate indeed is the man who takes exactly the right measure of himself and holds a just balance between what he can acquire and what he can use." I understand that some fans may not want Shanks to die, and even though I'm making this theory, this isn't me saying it'll 100% happen this way. Nevertheless, if it does happen, I would love Oda to execute it in a way that could push the plot and create something special within the world of One Piece. Hope you guys enjoy this theory about Shanks. Also, like I said, make sure you check in the pinned comments for that Twitch link and Discord link. And as always, I hope you all are staying safe and healthy during these trying times. This has been Synsei Inc., and I will see you all in the next video.